Hi, friends. My name's Derek. This here is Rachel.
Hi.
She's this lady in my life. An important lady.
Aww,
She has all the requisite lady parts.
thanks.
But life's more than just Rachel. Because I know that I and Rachel both, we need your chat. We need it. We need it bad. Chat is hard.
Chat is good.
Chat is hard and put us away wet. Yeah, so in the absence of any chat, obviously I'm feeling increasingly, like panicked, like starting to get sick from withdrawal symptoms. Kind of like the heroin addict, desperate for his fix. Only thing that can save me is chat. Still nothing. I am a person in desperate need, crying out.
Can you hear?
Give me some chat. Oh, I need it so bad. I'm going to get sick if I don't get any chat. It's like vitamin C. If you don't get, thank you.
Oh,
Whew.
thanks, greetings.
There's a butterfly.
And a butterfly.
And did I eat cheese today? Well, we had a quarter pounder with cheese on it from McDonald's.
Good.
I forgot I have my Coke over there.
Yeah.
I think I'll go grasp it.
It's the one on the right.
I'm going to grasp it with my hand.
Yeah.
I'm a grasper, mostly. My pants are unbuttoned and unzipped. Fortunately, I was wearing underwear.
Yeah, that is fortunate.
That's from when I urinated earlier. So, I go with no pickles, no onions on your QP. I go no pickles, but I go with the onions.
Yeah, I like the onions.
I like the onions, but
Actually,
we also go no pickles.
We do go no pickles.
On everything at McDonald's.
Yeah, they have the worst pickles.
They really do. They're very flimsy
They're
pickles.
so gross. They have a gross taste.
They're flaccid. McDonald's has flaccid pickles.
God, I even as a kid, I used to think the same thing. Like, I was like, I would get chicken nuggets instead of like cheeseburgers because
You didn't want the flaccid pickles.
yeah.
You didn't want to contract flaccid pickles.
Yeah, I did not want to contract flaccid pickle.
Do you want my flaccid pickle? Do you want it on your cheeseburger?
Well, according to wisdom, I would think that it's a substantial amount of cheese in the Hot Pocket.
Hot Pocket.
They usually have a good amount of cheese, right? The Hot Pockets.
Did you well, it depends. Yeah, usually. But did you say a little prayer to the Hot Pocket heiress?
Who's that?
She is one of the people who got in trouble, I believe, over that college admission scandal.
Oh.
And prior to which, I didn't know there was a Hot Pocket heiress.
I didn't either. This is news to me.
Michelle Genaves is referred to as Hot Pocket heiress Michelle Genaves. Ensnared in the sweeping college admission scandal, had her prison sentence set to begin next week delayed due to the corona outbreak. It's back from May. I don't know what the problem was, but it was definitely corona.
Wow. Lucky her having you can blame everything on COVID. I bumped my leg into the...
You know what would be funny?
Mm.
If the Hot Pocket heiress got sentenced to house arrest during COVID. Right?
I really wouldn't be surprised if that's what you got.
Everybody who got house arrest right before COVID was like, fuck yeah! I got 6 months house arrest. So does everybody else. You do not pray to Hot Pocket gods or the cheese gods. Not the gods. You give a little homage to the Hot Pocket's heiress.
Yeah.
You say, "Dear Hot Pocket heiress, I know you can't get one of these delicious Hot Pockets in jail, but I'm eating it for you.
That's so charming. And I think it would get the desired result.
Hot Pocket. It would make your Hot Pocket less likely to burn your mouth, which is the only possible desirable result from a Hot Pocket.
Yeah.
Is to try not to burn your mouth.
You really don't want to burn your mouth. You have to be so patient with those things. I like the one with cheese and pepperoni.
The only thing more mouth burn prone than a Hot Pocket is that Chinese dim sum dish that's full of hot boiling soup. Talk about a stupid idea. When I went to Shanghai, went to dim sum.
Oh, dims.
And, usually they got like pork in the middle or vegetables or whatever. Mm-hmm. Well, they have these ones that have boiling soup in the middle of them.
Oh my gosh, it's terrible.
And if you don't know, then you just, let's try this one over here.
And then your mouth burns. Oh, right. I've had that happen before.
And you don't want to spit it all over the place. You don't want to spit it on everybody at the table, but someone should have warned me, hey, this dim sum is full of hot soup.
That is so weird. I've never heard of that.
And why so hot?
Yeah, why so hot?
Why is the soup inside the dim sum hot enough to fuel a fusion reactor?
Don't you want to, you have to wait for the soup to heat up, cool down. So you want them to be...
You need to know. There needs to be a little flag on it that says hot soup within. Maybe there was. I couldn't read Chinese. It's possible.
Maybe.
El Nino, my arse indeed. What was I going to say? Something about something important? Something hugely, hugely, hugely important? C.S. Joseph had an interesting title of a video earlier.
What was it?
It was something about ENTPs and lying. C.S. Joseph discusses the ENTP experience that balanced people's desire for comforting lies and their avoidance of unpleasant.
Oh, this is a good topic. I mean, it's so weird. I know you can't, it's not really accurate to use, facial features to, pinpoint a type. But he sort of, looks like your dad. If you put, if you aged him and put, he looks like an ESTJ. And you put glasses on him, you look like your dad.
Yeah.
Beginning of the ages of Aquarius. No.
Let me read this, okay? Everything you've been so vehemently hoping for over the last 2 centuries or so, maybe 3 centuries. I think that doctrine has been preached pretty heavily since the 1800s. So, folks, welcome to the age of Aquarius. I don't really give a damn about astrology, but other people do. Just because I talk about certain things doesn't exactly mean I believe it. It doesn't mean I care, but I do know that other people care. I know that other people's beliefs affect me, whether or not I agree with it or not. That's the thing. Why is it that I often see people, TI users, FI users, it doesn't matter, where it's like, oh, this belief system, I don't believe it. And then they just completely dismiss it. I'm like, yeah, but it's a thing such that people do believe it, which means they're going to make decisions. They're going to make judgments with their judging functions about those belief systems. Then as a result, their decisions will create consequences that will affect you or that will affect you, right? So why not, prepare yourself for such things. That's why, you don't have to agree with me. You don't have to believe me. I don't care if you agree with me or believe me, just like I don't care about the size of this audience. I really don't, because it would make no difference to me if there was only one person here on the stream listening to me, or the amount of people that are listening to me now. This is on the final day of the year, also the first day of the year. You are such a liar. Or maybe you're telling the truth. I mean, does that sound like ENTP? He's saying, look, people say some things are right and some things are wrong, but no. It doesn't work like that. CI people, F5 people, right, wrong, it doesn't matter, because people make decisions on their beliefs regardless. What? God, that guy's an ass. I tell you. Talk about a non-ENTP. Hi, Mackenzie Hoffman. I need your chat. Right now, I've got no chat. I'm not like C.S. Joseph. I do care. C.S. Joseph just told us he doesn't care if there's this much audience or one person there. He doesn't care. I care. And yet he's got way more people than me. Maybe it's because I care too much, I guess, huh? Maybe it's because people in general are kind of not so bright.
Sorry about that.
It might have something to do with that. I can see chat.
So, I saw that Greetings Wisdom was talking about praying, and I looked at the praying mantis, and it is because of the way it looks.
Oh, so it's P-R-A-Y.
R, yeah.
Okay, so I had it backwards. I knew it's one way or the other. It's like either way makes sense.
I think your way makes more sense than the having it look like it's praying.
Well, it's not my way. I just got it backwards. I just got it backwards. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's P-R-A-Y-I-N-G, meaning praying, not P-R-E-Y, meaning rawr.
Yeah.
I need chat. I need your chat. That doll thinking
You
69.
do.
Give it
He
to me.
does.
How does FE work in 8th slot for ENTJs? I think I have good FE, but I'm not sure. Well, it'll always be good enough for you, but you won't like taking critique in it. So in other words, it's like your extroverted feeling is subsumed constantly by your extroverted thinking. As long as it's not interfering with your plans, and ideally, if it's sometimes facilitating your plans, well, then that's all you want it for anyway. It's not an end in itself. It's not an absolute value. So it's not something you're likely to get super fussy at yourself about, but you don't like it when other people get fussy at you about it because you want to do it your own way. You see yourself as, you don't really consciously see yourself as anything about it, but you unconsciously see yourself as doing it right for you, and yet somehow not having it validated as much as people who are, in your opinion, doing it too much. Praying mantis versus spider. It depends how big the spider is. Or how poisonous, I guess.
True. Would you like me to make a fresh pot of coffee?
I mean, that's fine. I'll just finish the leftovers coffee. If you want a fresh pot, go ahead.
I was just asking.
No, I have. If you want to go for it,
No.
I'm fine with that coffee.
Oh wait.
Whenever I see him making a video at ENTPs, I'm just like,
What was the?
here's another load of horseshit into the world. You know? That's what they say. It's that's your demon function, but I'm not sure what that means exactly. I would say that you tend to think, in my opinion, one tends to think that evil committed by others with your its thought function. So whatever thought they're using it in doesn't matter. But the evil that correlates with your its thought function is the evil that bothers you most or that makes you maddest. Now, regarding your SI test, do you think that when you ask someone what they did that day and they give you a general walkthrough, it's not indicative of low SI-ish? If that's indicative of lowish SI, is that not entirely conclusive because they not think you want every detail? Right, there's nothing conclusive about. The only thing that's conclusive on SI is if somebody tests polar for it, and tool function, and especially can be very evident too. Like I asked Rachel's mom some typing questions the other day, and boy, you couldn't get her to stop giving you SI details about stuff. Yes, I see you, question mark. How are you? Okay, you're not cloud. Gotcha. You're question mark. I know. You're purple, you got a line through the middle of you, you're question mark. That's okay. You're just a whack MC who acts like a clown, Mackenzie Hoffman, as per the Beastie Boys song. Oh, I don't want to talk about it. He's boring.
Who's boring?
Cloud. Ever met a person who couldn't tell you what they did the day?
Get as much of it.
Thanks, Tara.
You're welcome.
And didn't have some sort of neurological issue? Yeah. Like everybody who's SI polar. I mean, it really depends on what you mean by tell you what they did that day. I mean, obviously, everybody can tell you something about what they did over the course of a day, Like, even if I were SI polar, I'm sure I'd be able to remember that, I worked today or that I went, that I'd be able to remember a couple of things, So obviously you have to look at it as, the thing is, actually made a little film about my life recently. Really? What does it say? I want to see it. Is it after I made my video about him? So what would be the difference then? Well, one of the great thing about polars is if they're not familiar with my testing at all, they'll typically manifest not getting the question, which is a sure sign of polar. So if you say, can you recount your morning and your events for me today to somebody who's SI polar and they're not at all familiar with your line of questioning, they're likely to say that to avoid the question, to say, well, usually I get up and I do this. Well, did you do that this morning? Oh, well, that's a sign of SI polar, I mean, it's as clear a bright line as we have, but it's still I mean, the thing is, if you'd like to make that more definitive as to where that line is, Oh. Yeah, I don't know. Wrong move, Eric. Wrong move doing what? Calling him out on his bullshit? The thing is, for us to really meaningfully have a standard understanding of what level qualifies as what, right?
I'm sorry.
44 minutes of explaining about me, huh? So the thing is, like I said, it's pretty definitive. If you get somebody who's not familiar with the test, they'll reveal SI4 very easily. Now, sometimes you have to push on it a bit to make sure to confirm it's not actually eighth slot. Because eighth slot can be a little slow to come out to play. But I mean, as I've said before, Raphael, it's as much from my perspective still, it's as much art as it is science. The thing is, I provided all the data. If you spent the energy you spend trying to tear me down a notch, actually compiling that data, you'd be able to answer the question.
I want to say that for like my polar, for example, TE I always seem to get mixed up with SE. And it is ordinal step stuff. Like when I'm doing the laundry, even though I've done it, God, like 1,000 times now, sometimes I'll still forget a step and I'll have to go back and do it. And all I'm thinking is, oh my gosh, if his dad was watching me right now, he would think I was like a total tard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, Raphael, the most definitive things that we have in typology in general is the polar test. Eighth slot's easy to distinguish between seventh slot. So if you look at the typing session I did today of an ISFP, you'll see something that's very textbook eighth slot TI from her. Now, can I exactly describe to you how to convert that yourself? So, Raphael, what you're asking me to do is to give you a protocol, right? By which I determine what level of what is what. Okay, for SI or TI, same thing. Those are both nice skills tests. So they convert immediately into data in that way. If you would like to put together a protocol that defines all these components of the spectrum so that we can say, okay, this is, are we ever going to get an entirely bright line that says that you're never going to get any borderline people? Probably not. If we wanted to validate it and we wanted to look at it from sort of an empirics perspective, what we look for is actual clusters in the data. Again, I'm not that kind of thinker. I'm not a data gatherer, compiler. You can do that if you want, though. And since you seem to have so much time coming in here and shitting on me,
yeah,
then I'm
really.
sure you'd be happy to do that. You go through all those old videos and you gather all the data and see what it comes out like, okay?
Yeah, especially since you're critiquing it.
No, I did answer the question. I didn't tell you I don't want to talk about it. I've answered this question for you many times. You are correct. I have not done all the science work. We've talked about this many times. So it's like, don't be disingenuous about it. Don't pretend like you're saying something new, right? I don't have, or don't pretend like I'm being avoidant. I don't have an answer for you. I don't have a clear, you want a clear, bright line. Like if they are unable to say this many details, then that qualifies as polar. So if you're asking where exactly is that clear, bright line that you can apply consistently yourself without any additional knowledge, I don't have that for you. That'd be great if they're were that kind of thing. But then it would put me out of business, of course.
So, I wanted to answer Janine L's question about what step I forgot. So, well, it's like the task of laundry is broken down to like many steps, and I have a lot of laundry to do. So, I had to sort everything out and then go to the laundry, open up the thing, turn it on, put it on to cold wash, and then I slam the door, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot the detergent. Yeah.
That's TE polar. Getting in the shower, turning on the water, and realizing, oh, I didn't take my clothes off yet. I should do that first.
Really, it can get to that. It can get to that point.
There's a C.
If I'm doing a lot of SE before it and like TE thinking before having to do the actual task, forget it. I'm all burnt out by that point, and I'm gonna forget something.
Yeah, I mean, I often do dumb shit like that too. So the thing is, the difference is when I do something TE dumb, this is one aspect of the critical parent metaphor that seems to resonate, at least in my experience, that I tend to be like, God damn it, Eric, you stupid Eric, you why are you so dumb? I really lambast myself when I do really TE dumb things.
Yeah.
Raphael, did I say that data gathering was bad? No. I told you, since you're so interested in the results of data gathering, all the data is there. You just got to gather it. I'm not going to do that for you. You can assign me all the tasks you want in the world, and I probably won't do any of them.
Good luck. Yeah.
I don't like paying attention to the moving around the house. I try to set everything as if I were blind and could reach. That's an old Eric idea too. I want to have everything within reach of me, but I gave up on it because the problem is different things require different space setups, and it's just how it is. You think you're pretty nice and you're to eat on? I'm sure you are pretty nice.
Yeah.
Andre Z.
We never said that they weren't.
T-doms aren't not nice. I think it also has a lot to do with your Enneagram type. So, like Rachel's mom is quite friendly, but I think if you are an ENTJ, Andre Z, you'd probably find her quite annoying as well, because she's always relating specifics about the various things that she's done. Well, me and Judy went down to, they have a place at the pier. It's called Bobby's Oysters, and they all wanted me to try the oysters. And I took one look at it, and I'm like, I don't know about this. And, I just said, you know what? They have some other oysters, right? And they did. And they had this, and they had this, and they had this. And so I thought about it, and I asked the waiter, and the waiter was like, well, I think this one is better. And so I just went ahead and got that one. If you find that boring, okay, I got it, Raphael. You didn't say I think data gathering is dumb. Okay, fine. I think data lathering is dumb. If your data's filthy, just throw it away. Don't try to clean it. Don't data lather. Okay? You're just polishing a turd at that point. Is it a cat problem, a furniture problem, a behavioral problem, or an attitude problem? This is an interesting question, Doll 1969.
Go Coach Eric. Go Coach Eric. Go Coach Eric.
Regarding cat scratching the furniture, I see it as an attitude problem of the person. It's like Who cares?
Yeah.
I don't care if they scratch the furniture. But of course,
Right?
I'm not somebody who put a lot of time and effort and thought into going out and picking it. Oh my gosh, Rachel, do you see this sofa here? It's got that mid-century look, but it's got all the features we're looking for in a sofa. Let's spend $1,400 on it.
No,
That is not me.
No, it's not.
So I don't care if the cat scratches the sofa. I don't believe in stuff, really. Stuff is just burdensome objects. It's a variant of the troll problem. Oh. So okay, I see. So you move into a house. I like this troll problem, Doll's Tension Sudan. Let's all try to answer it. You move into the house, and it's a house with 3 people in it already. One of them is an ESTJ who's really upset that the third one's cat is scratching the ESTJ's furniture that she brought in. And the second one is stuck in between them, trying to keep them at arm's length. You come in the house, and right as you walk in to move in, the first day you finally put in all your stuff in your room, you get all unpacked and everything, and you walk out, and boom, it erupts into a fight between ESTJ, the cat owner, with the other person in the middle trying to keep them come on, guys, we can get along, we can. And then as you walk out of the room, they all turn to you and they say, solve our problem.
That's a pretty big problem.
What do you do? What do you do? I've given you all the deets you need to know to decide what to do regarding this matter of the cat.
See, I can't even, in my mind, I'm like, I need to hire an ENFP. See, I can't even figure it out myself. Because in my mind, ESTJs are such a force that, a lot of times they end up winning.
I just be like, look, because I pee standing up, for example, let's say I did. I don't really, but let's say I did. Because I pee standing up, you wouldn't want to leave your cherished burrito right next to the toilet right before I go pee. The cat is also a resident of the house. Now, you therefore don't want to leave your furniture in rooms where the cat is going to be. Because you know that just as I pee standing up, the cat scratches furniture. If you don't want your furniture scratched, then either move it all into your room or put it in storage. But the cat is a person and your furniture is not.
Yeah, I mean, I see it that way too. I never understood the big deal. I never understood the big deal with having cat fur or dog hair on clothes.
But you'll notice how I solved the problem without caring about everybody getting a win, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just solved it with ESTJ, you're wrong. That's it.
See, but you would actually be able to do that.
Well, I mean,
not many people can stand up to it.
But is that a good decision long term if you're moving into the house? You've immediately made an enemy with the ESTJ.
That's a really, really difficult. Negotiate with the cat, put a line of duct tape straight down the middle of the house. The cat stays on its side and scratches as much furniture as it wants. You stay on your side. Oliver Line and I like that idea, but I don't think that duct tape would fly by ESTJ, only if it was massive war.
Well, I mean, what are all the other alternatives? There are no other acceptable alternative except the ESTJ gives ground in the situation. Because either the person's got to get rid of their cat. That's not going to happen if they like their cat, you know. Or the person's got to move out. But assuming the other unless the ESTJ has greater claim to the place. Like if the ESTJ owns the place and is renting the rooms, then that's a different question.
That's different. Then they can say no pets.
If they're all splitting the rent and there was an understanding that there was the person was bringing their cat,
Okay.
and the ESTJ didn't anticipate their furniture getting scratched. Well, that's on them.
Okay, so I actually had my what's the when you pay rent? Who the person that you pay
Landlord.
to? Landlord. My landlord was an ESTJ. When we moved in, me, V, and Amanda, 3 girls, like, and she said, no posters on the wall, no painting the walls. You have to leave it as it is. Like everything, you leave it as it is. Nothing on the walls. We were like, okay. V screws mirrors in the walls. I put posters up. We don't get like the refund back because the ESTJ is like, well, comes into the house to like show people the house because we were leaving. And she's like, she comes into my room and she looks all over the place and she sees pictures all over the walls. And she gives me a face like, you betrayed me. And
you just pointed. It's them. They did it.
They did it. Those 2.
Peeing on the couch, not a bad idea. Let the cat know it's your exclusive territory.
Right. That
is an ESTJ your typical Karen? I don't know exactly what a Karen is per se, but I would say that like an ESTJ, like my dad, he just it's his universe and everything bow before him. So if there's weeds he doesn't like in the yard, he'll go squirt poison on them. Despite the fact that my mom and I always objected to this. Like, why are you poisoning things? You know?
I feel you.
If there's bugs, poison. If there's, well, the cat sprayed. Oh, trouble sprayed. Well, if I were me, I'd catch him and cut his balls off. Well, we don't want to interfere with this other being's life that much,
Yes. And it really is. Every time that we say that, like, Trouble has like squirted his seed, his dad's solution is to cut off his balls. We're like, no,
just
that's not happening.
Cut off his balls.
No,
when the squirrel take a peach, he shoots it with a pellet gun. I mean, it's like
he's such a good example of an ESTJ though, because he's very balanced, but he does a lot of ESTJ things.
He does a lot of ESTJ stuff.
Yeah.
There's no beauty he can't ignore and trample over on his way to his goal.
Oh my god!
That's a quintessential ESTJ quality. There is no amount of beauty and glory that I'm not afraid to trample over on the way to my goal.
Yeah, facts.
Karens are social dominators. I think of them as being like pissy FI women or something. I don't know. Like, slow down. Like, the kind of woman who stands on her front yard and you're driving like 30 in a 25 zone and she screams at you, slow down.
That's happened?
I mean, we used to have Mrs. Heilman on the street. She'd do that. Mrs. Heilman across the street used to, if somebody drove too fast down the street, she'd yell at them, slow down.
Wow, that is old school.
Yeah, they're. I remember. Okay, so this is ESFJ story. It's not about my ex-wife. This is about this ESFJ who lived next door with her husband. Her name was I don't remember what her name was, but Jen. Her name was Jen. She was cool, but we had a big falling out because she invited us to her child's 1-year birthday party in Big Bear when they moved up there. And we went up there and, everybody was drinking alcohol. So I sparked up a joint in the backyard, and she kind of freaked out at me. So I was like, fuck off. I'm bailing. It's not like, if you're going to say, well, you shouldn't smoke weed at a child's birthday party, well, you shouldn't drink alcohol then either.
Boom.
That's a much worse drug than the marijuana. It's not like I was blowing it in the children's face or something. I was out off in the backyard. So it's like, okay, I don't need this irrationality because you people are nuts. If you're going to try to shame me for smoking a joint in the backyard, well, you guys are drinking alcohol.
Yeah, I hate that double standard.
Yeah, well, that's what she did in Big Bear. That's what Jen did, was try to come at me with FE. I'm like, the fuck you will.
See, that's what I love about you.
If nobody had been drinking, I would have gone off to the car and smoked a joint. But I figured that's like too much faith in T.I. I figured T.I.N.I. that nobody would have the gall to attempt to say anything given that everybody was drinking. Because all I would just say is, you all are drinking alcohol, and so I would guess that nobody. That was one of the situations where my argumentational assumptions proved irrelevant because the person's anti-polar, right? So it's just like, but doy doesn't matter. And it's legal too. It was legal here in California. It's not like there's anything illegal about it. What's HM mean? Hit me. Well, yeah, alcohol is traditionally more accepted, but they're both treated the same legally in California. And in reality, marijuana is a much less, it's not even really a drug. It's more like a habit, like cigarettes,
Yeah.
For me, anyway.
Me too.
Oliver Linehand says, people are weird about marijuana. My mom seems so uncomfortable with the idea, even though I don't do any drugs right now. She has no problem with drinking, but weed is too scared for some reason. Well, for all the people who themselves don't have any, it's just people projecting their own experience on other people, right? So Oliver Linehand's mom probably doesn't have any problem with alcohol. So she's going to assume that you're not going to have any problem with it either. But she's probably never really smoked any weed. So she just has non-SI experience to reference.
That's the experience that my mom drinks. She's no problem with it. Although, like sometimes, but definitely less. And my dad has never smoked in his life, smoked weed or cigarettes in his life. And he just started drinking beer like maybe 8 years ago. So, hey, Jeebus, I have been wondering where you have been. It's good to see you.
Who's Laura? I don't know. Who's Laura?
Laura, like who we typed?
Did we type with Laura recently?
Laura.
Yeah, Laura. We did recently type with Laura. We typed in Erica today. I typed a Laura. I typed poop face species bottoms. I believe their name was. You've got notifications. Yeah, you've notifications. You got notifications going on. We're not going to take it anymore, okay? We're not going to take it anymore. So, sir, I did the test with polar function of ENTJ, INTJ, and when I remember the details during the day, I get a headache or remember past experiences which involve bad or sad experiences. Why is everyone's grandma usually an answer? Well, ENTJs and INTJs have a different polar function. One of them is FE and one of them is SI. Okay, well, when you remember the details during the day, I got a headache or I remember past experiences involve bad or sad experiences. Okay, so I don't know what to say.
I don't know what to say about that either, actually. That's why I laughed.
It's sort of confusing. It's sort of a confusing thing to answer.
Yeah, that's...
You probably have to get me to type you.
My grandma was in my grandma Lapalosa was an ISFJ. My grandma McCurkin's probably ESTJ. I have a lot of ESTJs in my life. I have my mom, Susan, ESTJ, my Aunt Janice, ESTJ, my grandma, ESTJ, my grandma McCurkin, ESTJ.
Oh boy, let me tell you. Did we kill it on the family FE today?
Yeah, got the response back too, and
yeah?
My cousin said it was awesome. Yeah.
So one of Rachel's family members said, "Oh my gosh, we have to put together a meow meow for Janice for her birthday, 60th birthday. Everybody make a little video. No more than a minute long." So, Rachel and I made this video. I will share it from
cool.
Ye Old Google Photos, as it's known. Let's see. Yeah, and share. Create link. Copy. Video. No. We're gonna meow this meow and meow 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 meow. There we go. Put that there. And then I'm going to play it here for those of you who can't see it because you can't open up another thing at the same time or whatever. I'm going to start it over right now with the volume on. You'll be able to hear it at least.
Happy birthday, Aunt Jen, and in honor of your special birthday, Eric and I have wrote a little song. Was this your plan, my dear Aunt Jen, to be on planets in 61?
Well, if you can, then dear Aunt Jen, aim for 60 more before you're done.
Happy birthday to my aunt. Happy birthday. Enjoy your day. Love you.
Isn't that good,
I think that
Effie?
was great. I think it's great.
Short and sweet.
Yeah. And creative, too.
Mhm.
Like, we were able to use our talents to bring a smile.
Well, to win the FE contest, mostly.
Well, we definitely did.
I'm mostly concerned about winning the FE contest.
We definitely.
I want them to just think, "Oh my God, we love Eric so much."
Oh my gosh. Yes, this is like Brownie Point Central for sure.
That's what I want them to think. And then also to be carrying the weight of the cognitive dissonance because I'll be just constantly smoking weed around them.
Yes, he will be, and I can't wait.
As I have so far, constantly. It's like, in the sense that every time we have some sort of conference with them, I make sure to pull a couple bong rips while we're talking to them.
Yeah, even if I'm not.
Rachel will kind of stand off camera, I guess, because she doesn't want to rub it in her mom's face. That's good FE too. That's smart, right? Because you can't be accused of rubbing it in her face.
I did once, and I could tell her. Yeah, like I could see my mom makes this face, and that means you're embarrassing me. So that's my cue.
I've done plates. If you mean that ESFP that I mistyped at the ENFJ, yes, I did see. I heard that he made videos responding to me. I also heard that it's a bunch of Marty-esque crazy ESP nonsense. So I don't really have time for it. It's not like I can take that guy seriously at all, really. And I don't feel particular. He seems to feel particular antipathy to me, but I just think, what the hell is wrong with that guy? Was it a dramatic expose? I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. His video? I didn't watch it. I mean, not really anything to expose about me, you know?
No, everything you lay everything out on the table. Everything's on the table.
It's a very common tactic that I think people like to use, which is to, make public things that are supposedly going to be shameful or bad about you. People have a really hard time doing that with me because there are too many reasonable people in the world who go, yeah, I've done it. I've already done it myself.
He has.
Anything true you're saying or reasonable you're saying is something I've acknowledged, or the reason you know is because I'm the one who said it in the first place. It's like I know everybody knows about who I am, what I do, and all that kind of stuff, and it makes it really difficult for them to get me. So they typically try to get me through some other angle, like the baiting tactic, where they say, well, you frequently contradict yourself, and then give me an example of some hyperbolic claim I made about my role in cognitive functions in a video. Not anything about cognitive functions, that kind of shit. That's an alternate tactic because they don't really have any legit tactics. And the absolute maximal that tactic can be used has already been done to me, which is to say, Becky has emailed everything that one could imagine as being embarrassing, shameful, or whatever about me to my dad directly and threatened to sue him. So once that happened, it's like, what are you going to do to me? What are you going to say? Either it's a lie, in which case I'll say it's a lie, or it's something that's people already know, or it's in some sort of bullshit kind of trap, interpretation kind of thing. Some bullshit purposeful misinterpretation or whatever. Other kind of dissembling. Yeah, Marty did that too. That's fun. I mentioned her in a video. I made a video about how the INFJ's best personality type to be with is ENTP, and that I can only really think of one ENTP woman. That's Becky. Maybe Frank James should go with Becky. I said some shit like that,
Oh yeah, that's right. It was that. And I was agreeing. I was like, oh my gosh, it would be.
And that's what prompted her to do that. I mean, to be completely honest and full disclosure, I did say in the course of making the thing about Frank, saying like, oh yeah. I mean, I did say, well, she is in a relationship, but that didn't seem to have bothered her before. So I did make that bit of shit talky joke there, but that's about it. We live with my dad right now. I don't remember what Marty's threats were. I think they were just like all it says, kind of vague. Yes.
I'm gonna.
Have we read
the sky open?
The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss? I think the name Darkly Gothfuss is a good name for a teenage girl character who wears all black.
Yeah, it's great.
Darkly Gothfuss.
Darkly.
How to cure social anxiety? I don't know how to cure social anxiety, Rocco Viscus.
Neither do I.
I've never really had it. I have never experienced it, and I am an SI type, which means I'm somewhat hesitant to talk about shit that I don't have any experience with.
Well, I can say that I was shy when I was younger, and I definitely had a form of social anxiety because, like, I would not leave my mom's side. We would get to like a birthday party, and I would be so excited beforehand. And my mom never understood how I could be so like excited beforehand for this party, and then go to the party and like cling to her side. What helped me was being around a lot of extroverted people. In particular, I had a best friend who was an ESFJ, who had, and an ENFJ too, who had FE experience and a lot of friends. So I learned from SJs and extroverts just in general, kind of social norms and stuff. It was really through friends from school. I probably would be very shy still if I didn't push myself.
I think it's FE is better said up than place 48 as being the process of paying attention to both data from other agents and its social significance, and taking the appropriate action through that frame as well. So if you think about FE as that, then it's, if you say something like, well, it's just engaging the environment. Well, no, it's specifically engaging that data that's meaningful to drawing social conclusions, and it's data that's given off by other people specifically. A TE person might pay attention to the environment, engage the environment in meaningful ways that have nothing to do with the people in the environment. He might make the environment more comfortable for himself by turning on the air conditioning. If you put a bunch of INFJs and have an INFJ meeting at some big conference room, and the staff forgot to turn on the air conditioning, there's a good chance that entire meeting will go off without any air conditioning ever being turned on, even if the thing's right there on the wall. That would be an interesting test, right?
Oh my God, I would hate that. I would probably be one of the first though, because my 7, I would start to freak. I'd be like, "What's going on? Why aren't we doing anything?" Or if I started to get sticky. But you're right. It would take that's a great test.
Because,
I think it would take so long.
It's like, let's say, here's how you really test it is, you come in with, you get a bunch of INFJs to come into a conference room where there's an actor who's playing the role of like a very business-like ENTJ. Okay, INFJs, we're going to go through some exercises here today. First thing I need you to do is look under your table, your chair. You're going to see there's a clipboard with some documents attached to it. I want you to pick that up, put that on your lap now. We will be moving around some, so don't get too comfortable. Okay, well, let's look at the first thing, right? So all of a sudden you're starting to just grab their TE attention, right? And make them go like, how long will it take before somebody complains about the room temperature? Given the fact that they're all INFJs, they're all first and foremost going to assume somebody else is going to say something. Maybe they don't all know they're all INFJs.
Maybe I can see a lot of glances at each other.
Everybody glances at each other. Right? Who's going to say it? Who's going to say it? Whereas, like, I walk in and the person would sit down and we start, okay, grab yourself. It's cold in here. I'm cold.
Action type.
But the thing is, I'd probably say something more like, hey, I'm cold in here, so I got to go get a jacket for my car. Like, I'm going to solve the problem myself rather than suggest. I'm still not going to TE the problem. I'm not going to say, why don't we turn on the heater? But I'm going to explain why I have to get up and go now because I'm too cold.
It's great.
And then that'll probably end up prompting, but it won't be intentional on my part, but it'll probably end up prompting, hey, I wonder if there's a heater in here.
I honestly, it will take a while. Like, I'll probably be one of the first INFJs to say something, like, or a 1. If it's not me, it would be an INFJ 1 because they would say something, or an 8. If there's a rarity of an INFJ 8, but I have it in my tri-type, so I feel like eventually I'm gonna say something because I'm gonna be like, yo, I'm dying in here. Or I'll say it to the other person probably first, and then it'll take a long time. That's a great experiment.
You call it Cloud's party.
Where?
He is an ENTP
Discord?
and you are an INFJ. I'm an ENTP, she's an INFJ, correct. She's not an 8, she's a 7, but
7.
yeah, I think it's possible. I think it's unlikely to display very 8-like, really, compared to. It's unlikely. I think INFJ competence is a way of strategizing so as to avoid 8-esque situations by and large. So, I mean, or as a strategy, it's successful at not being subjected to a lot of anger. And so it doesn't need such a strong response. It doesn't need such much of a strategy for it. Hi, Wicked.
What would you call an INFJ moment, Wicked? I didn't know how bad social anxiety was / could get until I dated an introverted girl who was like, people don't socialize well like you do. I was legit confused. Well, Eric McAllister, I think, is getting more and more to the point of more introverts like showing up in the world, especially intuitards. I know a lot of INTPs who just stay in the house and they go online and stuff, and they'll go out if they have a crush on a girl, or they're like best buds really want them to get out, but other than that, they're going to be online. And I don't know, just like a lot of introverts are going to be inside the place that they feel most comfortable at. But I do really honestly believe that being around extroverts helps introverts open up a little bit more. So that's my advice. Find some extroverts, even if they scare you, and learn. Horse mumbler.
The second number. So the second number, look, each of them is your base strategy for dealing with one of the 3 core negative emotions according to Enneagram. Those core negative emotions are shame, fear, and anger. And you deal with shame, 2, 3, or 4. You deal with fear, 5, 6, 7. You deal with anger, 8, 9, 1. So the point is, for every person, one of those areas is a primary concern. One of those areas is a secondary concern. And one of those areas is a tertiary concern. So for me, fear is my primary negative emotion. That's the one that's going to grab my attention most, that I'm going to avoid most, and that that's what being a 7 is nanny. Let's pretend that's not happening.
Yeah.
Which, can sometimes bite you in the ass, because I kind of played that game with the car. I could tell something was wrong with it, and now it's got a big compression. It's got a big problem. I think it's lost all kinds of compression. It's probably lost compression in at least 2 cylinders.
Eek.
from what I read today. And I successfully diagnosed it on the way back. The problem was we had driven all the way the fuck out to
Marina Del
Rey in difficult traffic. And the car went from a little bit wonky to just on its last legs.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know.
We were lucky we made it home, honestly. I was really praying.
I don't know about commonality of type in Enneagram. I would say that it would seem reasonable that Enneagram type would correlate more strongly with certain cognitive function types than with others. So I think 7 would tend to correlate more strongly with action types. And I would suggest that 4 would tend to correlate, 4 and 5 would both tend to correlate more strongly with deliberation types, which is say TI or FI.
Yeah. So
you've got 7 and probably 8 are both things that tend to correlate with action types. And I think that 9 tends to probably correlate with deliberation. 1 correlates with probably 9 probably correlates with knowledge or interface, I guess. 1 correlates with probably the other kind of interface, but maybe deliberation. 2 correlates with interface. 3 correlates with interface. 4 correlates with deliberation. 5 deliberation. 6 knowledge. 7 action. 8 action. 9 knowledge. 1. Well, there's an extra one, you know. There's an extra one because there's 9 of them, but there's only 8 functions. Would you say INFJs are naturally good writers? Does TE interfere with their writing skills anyway? No, I would say INFJs are naturally good writers because, well, here's what I would say. They're naturally good writers and they're better at fiction than at nonfiction.
Yeah.
So, you know, Harry Potter's an incredibly well put together piece of art. Whether, you know, whatever you think about it, it's if you read the books, it's hard to deny that they are woven in they are woven into a really tightly knit little tapestry of art.
I remember so I didn't read the series, but I tutored someone, a little boy, in English, and one of the books that he brought to me that he learned from was Harry Potter, and I remember just being like, wow, this is just so good. And I just read a little bit of it. Like, I read maybe like a chapter of it, and I was just like so taken by the world that was presented through those books. They really are a piece of art. Just like Kitty Pageant winner.
COVID's been typed to 718. It's kind of funny. You've been considering being a freelance writer. I'd say I'm a decent writer, but I think you need first learn the TE of it all. Probably the thing is, being a successful freelance writer is mostly about SE. It's about hustle. If you want the writing part to be the easier part, being any Dom. If you want the doing it part to be the easier part, being SE Dom. If you're trying to do it as an INFP or an INTP, you're going to really struggle. You're probably better off as an INFP trying it, but an INTP is going to really struggle because the same reason why I believe Japanese INTPs waste the least of their potential. Why is it the Japanese INTPs waste the least of their potential? Survey says, I'm counting on you. Japanese people are constantly telling each other that they're counting on them and that they're putting a lot of social expectations, and they'll get praised if they fulfill those expectations, and shaming if they don't. And if there's one type more than any other of all the 16 that's most susceptible to that tactic, it is INTP.
That's why I feel like I'd be out of balance there. I wouldn't be
you wouldn't be treated as a Japanese person.
No. I would be treated as
we'd be treated very politely.
Yes, we would be.
We think Japan was wonderful because I'm pretty old and look pretty old, and Japanese people give extra points for being old
and tall.
Right, and if we're vacationing, then we're just bringing money to their economy, and we are. I think if you are a foreigner living in Japan, I think you encounter some cultural barriers you can't get past.
I think I would be crying.
But if the only cultural barriers you want to get past are vacation style barriers, like having locals be friendly and chat with you and
with
practice
you
their English and stuff,
and with you, like it's so much fun. Like
nobody's gonna not. I mean, I don't know. I don't believe most civilized places in the world. I think if I go there, I will. I'll make friends and chat with people or whatever. I mean, the thing is, I don't need them to love me or anything. I'm just saying, I want to have a good experience as a tourist, and I'm confident I can in Japan. That's it.
Yeah, I'll want to be as a tourist there. Also, I'm not looking to stay.
That reminds me to take a bong. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, you're welcome.
Well, I'm not going there for women, obviously, up them plates, and I don't want to. I'm not interested in anything like that. I like.
If he gets me some places to Japan and good food in Japan, I will let him. I'm not. He's my man. Like they can praise him all they want.
Horace Malmberg. That's the thing. They can do. That's fine. They can see me as a filthy gaijin and fool me and make me think I was treated very nicely and everyone found so nice. That's good enough for me. I don't care. if they do their song and dance for me, that's all I'm expecting. Just expecting their song and dance.
I want to visit the Scots.
I don't expect authenticity, for God's sake.
Can we visit the Scots?
Yeah, let's go to Scotland some point.
Cool.
Japan may not be first on the list. Scotland's probably a lot more affordable to go to.
Yeah.
And then the other place I want to go, which is ahead in line of Japan, is Norway.
Yes, you said Norway for a really long time.
So, I mean, the thing is, we are quite some time from going to Japan. quite some time and quite a bit of money from going to Japan.
And I'm totally fine with that. I'm totally fine with we've traveled a lot, even just in 2020.
Yeah. I don't want to go to Brazil. It's dangerous.
You don't want to?
Yeah.
I don't want to either. No offense to Argentinians, but
they're not. They're Brazilian. Brazil is not part of Argentina.
Oh, sure. I always get them confused because they're both considered beautiful people countries. Like beautiful people come from there. Argentina, actually, I have no idea anything about you. Brazil is the place that I'm a little scared of. I'm a little scared of Brazil.
I'm not talking about going to Denmark, Sean. I'm talking about going to Norway.
I don't really want to go to Argentina unless I was with someone who knew the area.
I want to go to Greenland. It's the biggest land on the entire map, yeah. I want to go to Greenland. It's the biggest country. It's the top of the globe, yeah. It's so big.
It is so big.
But it's not really that big. Why am I so nervous? Do I seem nervous? I want to go to Greenland.
What? Eric's like, oh, please, Japanese women barely fit what I got down there. Rachel, barely enough. That was,
That's a nice joke.
It is.
That's a complimentary joke.
It is. That's why I didn't say anything after.
That's a manhood affirming comment. I appreciate that. We should all affirm each other's manhoods all the time. Hey, love your penis there, bro.
I know Brazil and Argentina are totally different places.
Madonna is not the artist you should credit with Don't Cry For Me Argentina. The artist you should credit with Don't Cry For Me Argentina is Andrew Lloyd Webber.
That makes a lot of
I
sense.
don't doubt that there are a few Danes in Norway, but Danes are the people of Denmark. Norwegians are the people of Norway. I had an ENTP stalker in high school, and he was the first FI blind spot person in my life, and I learned to appreciate that. I mean, you had an ENTP stalker? That doesn't seem particularly ENTP-ish. I told you already, Cloud. I said call it Cloud Super Party. Too much feelings all around can really be bad. That's what Tiny Man 66. Too much feelers all around. That's what the butterfly said when they had twice as many feelers as the other butterflies.
That's an interesting statement. Huh.
Do ENTPs and INFJs have a natural connection? I think so. Really, I didn't know that, Oliver. Nice to know that I'm once again surfing the curve. Kim Jong-un hit me up and asked me to go get him a free typing post, Eric, of Hablando.com. Hablando con personas famosas. I think you mean talkiendo de femeninos de peopleoples? That's the proper way to say that in Spanish. ENTPs are said to develop insane feelings for some people. I mean, if it's really an ENTP, they can easily be shamed or embarrassed out of any such behavior if you just, it's like, because it doesn't fly,
I used to think that ENTPs have great crushes. Like their crushes can be very, because it's like they're so like youthful in their feelings. Like when they develop feelings for someone, it's like a major crush, Like thinking about that.
Well, I fell in love extremely hard with Rachel. We had
lucky.
A period of what's known as what's that thing called? Limerence. I always forget what it's called.
Yeah.
It's a different account. It's a new account.
New for me too.
So if Cloud wants to come in with a different account, that other Cloud account has been banned, then I will, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see if he pisses me off or not. But the thing is, this is the thing. That was the first time that it happened to me. That limerence thing. I'd never felt like I gotta have this chick. It was always like, okay, I want to have a chick. Let me do some sort of like which model year and overall value can I acquire? Oh, Tom Chickleson, I'm sure I banned the same person like 10 times.
Hello, PNP.
No, I wasn't bananas about Kim. I didn't have any real that. There was no limerence period with Kim at all. But right out the gates, we started having problems. I was bananas about a lot of things about Kimberly's situation and me, and the fact that it just all seemed to fit together. Like her kid wanted to move out. She needed somebody to move in. It was SFJ. It reminded me of my house back when my ex-wife had been but it was some good feelings. But, at the very beginning, a couple of instances, well, you remember that relationship, Jeeves, if you wanted to be honest. It was nonstop conversations with if this relationship or anything like that relationship, you wouldn't be stuck referencing my old relationship, right? You wouldn't be using that as an argument. You'd be all over this one if you had any ammunition.
Yo, I Starlight UK.
Right. Well, that's the thing. It is the case that you shouldn't rely on my feelings. Nobody really should rely on my feelings. I certainly don't. But I had too many what? Good ideas for you to tolerate? And that's why you became a spite monkey? Let's see. What Enneagram is not that confident in a conflict because they think of the future consequences they will play? I suspect that 6. That's my answer. Do you have a book? Yeah, I have. I have some documents and stuff, a book of sorts you could look at if you want. I've got a novel you could read if you want to. I got a grammar book that teaches you how to diagram sentences. You could read that if you'd like.
He really does.
I've got a curriculum for a middle school debate program that has a levels architecture so you can milk more money out of the clients. Would you like to read that? Probably not. That's pretty boring. Pretty boring stuff. I have that love note I wrote to your mom yesterday. Would you like to read that?
Valerie Elwood, while I was in the shower today, I was actually thinking about how INTJ stereotype is the evil person. A lot of times in like especially kids movies, they'll have like an INTP stereotype as INTJ. Sorry. INTJ.
Whoa. Get a load of this lady. She says her husband's an INTJ, but he's not evil. Well, what do we look like? A bunch of gullible gusses? It doesn't sound gay, David Spencer, if you're a dude saying it to a chick.
What?
Nice cock. Hey, how's it going? Nice cock.
Nice cock. Oh, hello, PNP. I love you.
What did I do with my bong? Oh, there it is.
Morale.
Do ENTJ's 6 wing 5 exist? I mean, it's like you wouldn't think that there'd be a 7 INFJ because they're a knowing type, and 7 would seem to correlate most strongly with action types. But here's one. So I don't see why not. I mean, they're not mutually exclusive. There's no clear-cut mechanics to Enneagram like there is to cognitive functions. So it's kind of a taxonomy. It's kind of arbitrary. But well, at that point you were, Cloud. And at some point you became too spiteful. Well, I mean, if you want to provoke me, I will.
I want to take a video of you bong ripping, so I'm gonna.
I'm sure. What? You can't take a picture of me doing drugs?
Got a video.
Go ahead. Here's the thing.
Thank you.
I mean, it's kind of irrelevant, Cloud, because you became so thoroughly spiteful at the end that day after day you'd come here, you'd get frustrated, you'd bang your head against the wall, and you'd only be satisfied if you made everybody else here uncomfortable. Because either you pissed me off or you pissed somebody else off. It just wasn't worth it anymore. It was just a net harm. Again, Cloud, as I've said, my feelings are irrelevant. Not around here. You're not a balancing factor. You're a detracting factor. We're trying to do real thinking here. You know? Real talking. People who actually want to talk because words matter to people. But they don't matter to you. And you're mostly interested in getting my attention, getting me to talk to you. And you don't care what you have to do to get that to happen. And so you end up pissing me off and getting yourself banned. And then because if I don't let it work, if I just ignore you, you get pissier and pissier and pissier. So, well, that's why you get banned, right? Because you just want to see the world burn. And that's not true either. The problem is you don't respect words. And you hate it that when other people do. You know? DC says strange place. Well, yes, it's unusual people come here and go, I immediately know what this is entirely and are correct. Can you all tell me why you exist? No, I don't know why you exist. Probably because your parents had sex? Is that a good answer? Debate is good, but just not stepping on people for no reason. Right. You're not engaged in real debate. Well, he's not going to be very long, I don't think. People get high on happiness? I mean, isn't it that people get high to become happy? I find it interesting. This is actually a situation. It's such a niche envelope to come fuck with. What specifically? 9-6-6. You don't feel better? Were they supposed to make you feel better? Oh, I mean, the question why you exist is an interesting question because it's like it assumes there's either a purpose. Okay, well, I might have got a little trigger happy. I Starlight UK. I don't know. It remains to be seen. My instincts are pretty good. Eric, I think it's just one of Cloud's episodes, to be honest. Just a bit more talk this time, so I don't need to ban him too much. It should pass in less than a month. I don't want to carry around Cloud's shittiness for a month, even if that were true, which is ridiculous. I don't know where you would get off making that diagnosis, but I never say bad. Okay, well, I may have been a little too trigger happy. Sorry, I Starlight UK. Sometimes I err, and sometimes innocent civilians get shot while I'm trying to shoot people who are being spiteful. And if that happened in this instance, I'm sorry. Jacob smiles, says, Eric, get your girlfriend in the live stream with you. She's right here. She's doing what she wants. She is in the stream.
Trying to get a video of the cat.
Sometimes sitting here and taking pictures of the cat is how she bees in the live stream.
Don't worry, I'll be back. There's only 35 people here.
No, it doesn't work like that. I don't care. To the extent that you're here and bothering me, it won't take long for me to ban you again. I don't have an opinion about whether I want you to leave forever or not. It's just as soon as you start crossing my attention, typically you'll begin annoying me in short order. And at some point I will either ignore you, in which case you'll get spiteful, or I'll continue engaging with you, in which case I will get angry at you. 12 subscribers, new channel from last year. I mean, I've had a total gain of 12 subscribers in the last year. I think I've had more than that, but I haven't. It's not been a big gain or anything. Becoming stressed out by having a breakdown. What is DC? There are many questions to such an answer, but what matters is what the asker seeker wants. By becoming stressed out, having a breakdown.
Morale. Oh, morale. Morale.
Oh.
Morale.
So which slots can you actually test for? Because didn't you say some of them, but you were able to conclude that it's a certain slot because, for example, if you test for any polar, it's either one or two types. Right. And so I mean, the thing is, it's one of those things that it comes into resolve in various pieces. People want it to be entirely ordinal. It doesn't really quite work like that because it's a holistic thing. And so it's like you'll get pieces of the puzzle. Now, if somebody like Erica, she was very clearly anypolar. That's anypolar. That's exactly what anypolar looks like. So that narrows it down to two types, ISFP or ISCP. Everything else about her screamed ISFP even before any tests had been done. I was smelling anypolar anyway. Now, there's a difference. Oh my God, everybody, Lao Tzu's here. Lao Tzu, welcome.
Welcome.
Lao Tzu, everybody.
Lao Tzu.
History's first Eckhart Tolle. History's first Eckhart Tolle. Lao Tzu is known as history's first Eckhart Tolle because he said a bunch of self-contradictory nonsense. Now, keep in mind, I Starlight UK, the jury's still out on you. I haven't determined you're not a troll, but it sounds like you are just throwing stuff out there without backing up with argument. Ooh. Whew. You can just feel the level of craziness rise in the room, right? As we've got Starlight UK telling me to take a puff. Take a puff of what? Would you like me to take a puff of smoke deep into my body? Would you like to plunder my fleshy wealth with your smoky ways? Is that what you're trying to say, Starlight UK? Are you trying to waggle your schmindendens? That's a euphemism for doing the THC. He does THC. Big puffs only? Okay. I will big puff. I tell you what. This is the thing. Starlight UK. First of all, Nicholas Watson, I absolutely do not think my opinion is definitive on all subjects. You will frequently hear somebody bring up a subject and say, I don't know, I've never heard of it, or please tell me about it. You'll frequently hear me say that. So that's completely bullshit. The fact that I know a lot is not something that you should say, and here's one of his shortcomings. He knows a lot. Well, I do know a lot for an ENTP, given the fact that an ENTP is not a knowing type, but I certainly don't think my opinion is definitive on all subjects. I am objective such that I know when my opinion has more validity and when it doesn't, how much I know about things, how well I've gone through the argumentation. Typically, you won't hear me voicing a lot of opinions about things I haven't gone through the argumentation for, though. So you won't hear me taking a lot of chances argumentationally. No, Skygear is not Skygear is an INTP who's just playing some sort of stupid INTP meta joke or something. I don't know. Be careful. Be careful. Why? Why should I be careful? Do you anticipate slippery sidewalks this evening? Do you anticipate that they might ice over? I got a feeling that you're stealing all those people away from me. I got a meow meow, meow 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 meow. Meow 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 meow. That was a good bong rip. Or as Beck might have said, that was a good bong rip. I don't see this shit here. You don't see what shit here? Feeling? I got feeling, and I don't see this shit here. You got feeling. Guess you're standing too near, 'cause we know feeling, and that's gonna scare you away, 'cause your name is bullshit. I Starlight UK. How do you like that? You just got burned in song form. Are ENTPs good at sports? I'm pretty good at some sports. I'm not naturally good at any of them, but I can get better at them by practicing. And I mean, I've got a very good body, which is to say, I'm never currently never really put on weight, and even though I smoke a lot, I'm still in pretty good shape, and yeah, I got some muscles, and actually my best sport was probably Frisbee football, or what they sometimes call ultimate Frisbee, not basketball. I'm Felix Madison. Felix Madison, yeah. Turn of the century robber baron philanthropist. My name's Felix Madison. The Madison family goes way back. We're responsible for the Dolly Madison cake empire. We're good friends with Hot Pocket Heiress, who's currently awaiting legal outcome to her college admissions scandal case. Yes, it is I, Felix Madison. They named Madison, Wisconsin after me. Most people want to be INFJ because it's the rarest type. It's special. A very sensitive soul. And people envy that, so they mistype. I honestly feel bad for mistype people that can't grow their type.
I'm going to take another shot of you when you take a bong rip with boomerang, so it looks like your smoke is going to go in and out and in and out.
I wonder. I wonder about this very sensitive soul thing. Rachel, do you see yourself as a very sensitive soul? I do and I don't.
I'm sensitive, but I'm also not sensitive. I wouldn't say very.
I'd say you're, in some ways, like me, you can be insensitive towards your own needs and wants and stuff, you know? How old am I? I'm 49 years old. What intuitive type would you see the best in a military? Probably ENTJ. ENTJ is going to be most successful intuitive in the military because SI polar is very conducive to success in the military because you don't pay attention to the fact that you're not getting enough sleep or that you have to be tired for a long time with like running for a long time, stuff like that, you know? Carmen down.
Wait. Yes.
Carmen's down for what? Look, I know how much you admire me, I Starlight UK, but please, don't offer me your girlfriend Carmen. Which type is the most interested in MBTI? You, Valerie, you are the single most interested type. I think it's INFJs. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I suspect there's quite a few SFPs who are into it. And that comprises much of C.S. Joseph's audience, probably, you know? No thanks, Jacob smiles. I've already got a girlfriend. I don't want your girlfriend either. Spock. Stawn, she is yours. After a time, you may find that having is not so pleasing a thing after all as wanting. It is not logical, but is often true. Well, SI polar means you don't really care about the details and forget them and you cannot grasp the burn energy. Sort of. Eric McAllister says CS just strikes me as oddly intense. I'm tired of his nonsense. It's just so, like, dripping spite, you know? I got a tingling feeling on the perimeter of my anus hole when clouds around. Well, you know, that could be your spidey sense telling you pucker up because someone's looking to get past third base in the cloud, or it could mean, you know, I don't know. It could just mean you're paralyzed from the waist down, I guess. C.S. Joseph is mean. Look up C.S. Joseph diss track by Radical Sheep. It's a classic. I know who Radical Sheep is.
Fuck CS Joseph, all my home.
I can't. I shouldn't put that on so big. My bad. No, I think it has slurs even more. My bad. Yes, well, I didn't see it. He should have warned me before saying look up CS Joseph this track. Because by the time I open a new tab, I can't see what comes after that. It's too late then. It's too late, Oliver Lionhan. Now you've cost us all everything we've ever dreamed of. No, thank you. What comes up? I'm pretty sure he's not my daddy. Why would I die through that? Puff that shit offline. It's legal where I live. And it is good for you. There's nothing wrong with it at all. It's a very sustainable habit that's not particularly intoxicating. Yeah, I've been in one. It's like he couldn't behave himself for fucking 5 minutes, My bro. Will you stop calling me my bro? Jesus Christ. You're so obviously a troll. My bro, shut up. Cloud was kind of fun before with aimlessly maudlin and nihilistic pessimism. He seems stuck and gets tiring after a time. Exactly. Hey, believe me, if you hadn't had a chance to get tired of it yet, he's got to be the center of attention every time he's in here. And as happened again. And if he doesn't, he'll get increasingly nasty until somebody pays attention to him, or he says once again, that's fine, I'm leaving forever now. It's just whatever. I just don't have time for that nonsense. I'm trying to be a man child. I don't need an actual child. Well, the other thing is, a couple of things he brought up tonight point out the limits of it points out the limits of trying to be inclusive. So it's like at some point in the past, I've tried to take multiple approaches with cloud, being inclusive, I guess defending him.
Morale.
Okay, cool. Righteous. Guarantees. And what you do a fine job of man child and well entertaining us. What else is new in your world? How are the guppies? Too many and too much. We're gonna have to rid ourselves of some of them. Have you guys heard of Dark Age play? I don't think so. Eric likes to glue his fingers to his nipples and pretend to be a T-Rex. You have to glue your elbows to your nipples. I think you got that joke wrong. Fingers to your nipples, you'd be like this. Elbows to your nipples, you'd be like this.
True.
Well, fortunately, I intuited your mistake and fixed it for you. You're welcome. If Cloud Seeker balances constant fighting negativity with some congeniality and good cheer, he'd get a lot more of the attention he seems to want. I agree. But, I mean, the problem, I would say, Horse Mumbler, is not so much one of his attitude as it is his personality type. Ultimately, for him to extrovertedly intuit, it needs to be in the service of extroverted sensing, and He can only feel any kind of expert sensing satisfaction if it's expressing and people displaying their emotions, getting upset, because then he can see the anthill's been kicked and everything's moving around, and so his action function is met his goal. But it's just, unfortunately, the new world has this kind of ecosystem, which is fundamentally a metaphysical ecosystem, and it's going to ultimately, in this context anyway, value some kind of word exchange that is meaning based rather than just, like meaning theater, which is all that Cloud is ever really doing, Yeah, you haven't been kicked out tonight, Jeeves. You're doing great. Well, Kara, you're absolutely right when you say that, but that's not even my reasoning for it. So being bipolar means I'm loath to resort to that. I do occasionally, and one should occasionally resort to that argument. It's my thing, and I just shouldn't stress myself out accommodating something I don't like in my thing, right? I could resort to that argument. I consider that argument in general weak. My point is that it's the right choice to kick him out because he's just. I've had enough complaints about him, when I get enough complaints about people, then, or if I feel enough, like if he makes it not fun for me enough, then I'm just it's not gonna be to anybody's benefit, right? So to the extent that anybody likes this process of engaging here and thinks it's a good place to do so and is better than, I don't know, watching whatever else you'd be watching, then I want to keep it that way, and I want to make it more that way, and I want it to be welcoming and successful, and part of that is preventing the sensitive people from getting slapped around by asshats, as Jeeves refers to Cloud. It's an excellent word for Cloud. I think that's the correct term. He's not a bad person, he's just an asshat.
An asshat is a good term though for it.
Yeah. A Satan second, a devil minute, a Beelzebub, by the way. All right, so let's see. Tonight I'm feeling like a Treon user sucks dry in the anime series World Trigger. But now I feel like I'm being plumped up again by supping upon your chat. You're sorry to hear about it? Does it make you feel bad about your own? Is that why you're sorry to hear about it? Not gonna lie, the random drama is part of the TWEFP charm for me. I just observe it with all with a detached amusement. Well, that's because you have countervalued FI, so I enjoy it quite a bit. I think Rachel's enjoying it too.
What?
World Trigger. World Trigger. World Trigger. With Glasses Boy. They call him Four Eyes in the subtitles, okay? In the subtitles, they call him Four Eyes.
Yes.
But in my opinion, what they're really saying is Glasses Boy. Everybody has a hat that matches their personality. Here's yours. Mine's an ass hat.
Does an ass hat?
No, mine's a class hat.
It's better than the Albanian hat.
Yeah. Yeah, who gets the Albanian hat?
Have I ever thought about being a linebacker? I have thought about playing football. Oddly enough, I really have.
See, it's like they want to sort of play around the boundaries for as long as they can, but I can spot them right away. You know, Jacob Smiles is clearly a spite monkey.
Yeah.
And it was just sort of trying to get in as much shit, trying to engage me in something, rather than before they got dismissed as a spite monkey. But they're not very smart, obviously. They wouldn't be spite monkeys, so
I mean,
they run afoul of me. Are you still at the arcs where the invasions are the main thing? Well, right now I'm at this part where they got these people from an errant planet who it's called Ergatus, and one of them's name is Zeno, and the lady's name is Lilith. And right now, Glasses Boy, Yuga, or Hugo,
oh yeah,
and Big Gun Girl, who shoots the big gun that makes a big cannon like explosion, and they are all hunkered down at the haunted house, and right, he kept asking for her. Yeah, it's funny. I didn't even remember the details, but I just knew that I was anticipating him pulling some shit, you know.
I don't think I actually would be good at it. I mean, actually, probably. I don't know. I don't want to get that beat up.
Well, sweetie, I was gonna save the surprise, but I have enrolled you in rugby.
Oh my gosh.
I have. I didn't know. I went to the women's rugby league, all women's rugby league, and I enrolled you.
I have to learn all those rules.
Yeah.
There's so many.
After
I
that, you
might
got
be
ballet.
missing some teeth after this.
Well, you have ballet right after rugby. I started enrolling you in classes.
So in rugby, I'm gonna be that person that they like lift up. And it's like rugby escapes me. I used to know some of the jargon.
React to see
I
Joseph
have-
as your daddy. Okay, let me see. Who's it by? Oh, by the Endless Curtis. Okay. I'll have to mute over here so I don't get copyrighted. Copyrighted rich. That was really good.
That was a good imitation.
Sorry I didn't put the Winston's not never mind.
Oh, excuse me.
I was a pretty good mountain biker, but I stepped off the bike. My favorite / least favorite part of it is when he jokes about them measuring their channels in TWFPs.
That's funny.
It's like, ouch. Oh shit. My finger slipped, Jeebus. That's why. My finger slipped. I was fingering your mom and it slipped.
Oh.
With Let Me Talk to Your Wife, iStarlight UK also gets hidden because they no longer are successfully doing a good job of pretending to not be a spite monkey. They have to at least do a better job of pretending than that, you know?
Right. Let me. Thank you.
Love me tender, love me poo. Yeah, it was. It's pretty good. Pretty C.S. Joseph sounding C.S. Joseph imitation, huh? SRB, the answer is, you know me. You know me.
You know me.
Rachel, do you want to come sing this song with me?
Oh, yeah. The one we were working on?
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. You want to scoot over? Just a little bit this way. Sorry,
No, it's okay. I don't want to be in your way.
Why don't we switch? No, this is a better side. There. You can't see yourself because you can see the lyrics.
I'm there. Yeah. Just brooding here won't do any good. But brooding's more and more my style. I seek the cheery ways of standing where we stood, 'cause I've been stuck here a while. And that's despite a natural selfishness that makes it easy to have fun. But flutters in the gut become a fist, and all my visions come undone. I tried to scream, distract, and dream the afternoon away, but heavy new reality breaking every day, and for admit I am out of it.
That's my bad.
For reasons still unshed, but still I need expectorate the words inside my head. It seems like everybody's so sensitive, so ready to just get mad. I seek the simple ways of living like a kid, 'cause who wants to be the dad? Have we lost our sense of scope and scale, our capacity to laugh, the sense to know but not to will, and how to tip the golden calf? I tried to stream, distract, and drain the afternoon away, but heavy new realities bear down on every day, and for a bit I am out of it. The reasons still unsaid, but still
call sorrow, I call home. Blues that sink clear down to the bone. Still I'm sad, sad for me, sad for her, happily. And what you call sorrow, I call home. Blues that sink clear down to the bone. Sorry, I didn't play it very well, the guitar that time. I played it. My hands are tired, so it makes me struggle a little bit more.
Well, we practiced a lot today, so
Yeah, but anyway, I don't mean to. That's not a good way to end a song. Normally, is sorry, but I felt like
hope you guys enjoyed it anyway. I'm glad, Horse Mumbler. And thank you, Winston's mom. Glad to hear it.
Yeah, we're working on it. We're taking our time on it.
Yeah. I think.
And really, we're working on the recording. And
maybe tomorrow, I'll take an Adderall and then we can pump it out.
Okay. Well, Eric McAllister, I'll tell you what. I'll probably have a lot of pieces, and be not entirely sure what to do with them or which to use. If you want to try to like mix it, choose how to arrange and mix it, like in terms of not the song itself, which is arranged how it's arranged, but in terms of dropping in a little shit on top and stuff, then I'd be interesting to. Jeebus, you've got.
What up, Jesus
Christ.
I'm the sexiest linebacker you've ever seen.
Peter North here, old adult film star. Happy New Year. Are you really Peter North?
Are you really? Happy New Year to you as well. If you really
got an
are.
interesting name, good looking honky. The thing about honkies is it depends the pitch of the honk. If it's sort of a low guttural honk, well, then that's fine. But if you've got a very high pitched honk and they're frequently honking at you, honk, 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 it sounds like a little yappy dog, kind of.
Yeah.
I am shoot a bird off a tree branch nude thanks to Peter. Who's Peter?
Peter North. It's kind of like we've had Trump here. We've had what's his name too? Your favorite announcer,
Bill Walton.
Bill Walton. Yeah.
The trolls are pretty active. Probably all cloud. Yeah, possibly David Spencer. Good looking honky though is much more interesting than
it really is very because good looking honky. If it's actually like poking a little fun at yourself.
Well, and then coming in claiming to be Peter North, old adult film star, Happy New Year's, is much more interesting endeavor across the board than anything I've ever seen Cloud do, particularly.
Yes.
It's possible, but I don't think so.
Not probable.
Now, it might still be a troll, but it's a much more interesting troll than somebody saying, "Well, I just wanted to try to hurt Rachel's feelings." You're dealing with spite monkeys when their primary number one goal is to hurt Rachel's feelings.
I mean, it's really hard to hurt my feelings, but
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened. You're a good-looking honky. You get 225 subscribers with no videos.
Wow.
Just purely on looks alone.
That is purely on looks alone.
Good-looking honky. I personally am. No, it's not. No, what's not. I personally am transracial, so I'm a good-looking depends. Right now I'm Falkland Islander. Falkland Islander a disproportionate amount of time considering the percentage of the world population there. But even though I'm native Falkland Islander, I'm going to play this song now in honor of good looking honky.
Would you like a bowl of cereal? I'm making some for myself.
Oh, no thanks. I'll eat that other burger here pretty quick. So this right now is my very favorite song to play, for sure. I enjoy playing it a lot. I feel like it feels very like comfortable, like, so everything is right in my wheelhouse, kind of in terms of style of playing, in terms of singing, everything. Which is ironic because I'm transracial. But anyway, this is a song by Merle Haggard called "White." I'm a white boy. It's called "I'm a White Boy" by Merle Haggard. Some folks call me a rambling man. I do a little thumbing and a kicking canes, and I wouldn't do an answer good to call me names. Cause daddy's name was Willie Woodrow, and I was born and raised in no ghetto, just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I might be a wealthy woman in a line of work that don't take no diploma. I ain't got much to lose, but a lot to gain. And some might call me a good time fella. I ain't black and I ain't yellow, just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Yeah, I don't need no handout living, don't want no part of anything they're giving, cause I'm proud and white and I've got a song to sing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. I'm a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Ah-ha. I'm a small town boy, been around a little, and I like guitars and I like the fiddle, and that's the kind of soul that defend my plane. Well, I'm a blue-eyed Billy, feared and ready. I hope I'll get to work somebody. I'm a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Yeah, I don't need no handout living, no want any part of anything they're giving, cause I'm proud and white and I've got a song to sing. Well, I have a few things that I'll admit it, cause you gotta get around, you gotta hump and get it. I'm a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. That thing's got some country shuffle to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. And country feels.
Yeah, it so plays itself, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You just want to keep going, and you picture like those country dancers going, doing their two-stepping thing with their hat, you know, like.
Yeah.
So, anywho, let's see what's going on in the chat, because that's what fills me up ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
I don't identify as black. No. I'm transracial.
Why are you right now?
Falkland Islander.
What happens then?
I'm a native Falkland Islander. There's not a whole lot of us. We're a tribe of native Falkland Islanders. We're called the Falkland Indian tribe by some people, or the Falkland Indigenous tribe, or the Falkland Native Peoples,
Oh.
or the indigenous nudity of Falkland Islands.
So You guys are usually nude.
Well, the ladies are.
Oh, how lucky for you.
Here's a weird thing that we've discovered is indigenous people in the Falkland Islands. The anthropologists only want to take pictures of the naked ladies.
Oh, not of the naked men?
Well, we don't actually run around naked. Normally we wear clothes. But the anthropologists come and they say, oh, can you all take off all of your clothes?
Oh.
And then they say, okay, guys, you can put your clothes back on. And then they're just taking a bunch of pictures of our ladies all naked.
So it's staged.
Well, I'm not sure. They say they're doing some sort of research for the university, but I'm having trouble believing them.
Mm-hmm.
They say they're doing a study on sexual speciation and remote introversion in the island population of Intuitards, as per Winston's mom's policy grant proposal. Going back to Argentina, for them, the whole Falkland Islands War was a big deal. They had a big display in Buenos Aires Airport about it. No, really? Still? Is it still a big deal for them? That's kind of crazy. Yes, we were the first Falklanders. We're the ones who named it the Falkland Islands. Then the British came and claimed they made up the name. It is a sensitive topic for us as native Falklanders. We're called the Falklandish people. Is what we call ourselves. Or is our native name. Is our native name. That's the name of our people. The full name, the formal name for ceremonies and stuff. But usually you Westerners can't say it, so you can just call us the Falklandish wonder people. The wonderful indigenous peoples of Falklands. Falklanders, no, we're not sensitive about our hats. We're sensitive about our llamas. We're sensitive about our alpacas. We're sensitive when people get their llamas mixed in with my alpacas. I get pretty mad. But other than that, we aren't that really sensitive people. We're a little sensitive about our native shoes. Because our native that's why we're a little sensitive. It's just a brick strapped to our foot. That's the best we ever could come up with. We're not really a space object kind of people.
So, where do you find the bricks?
Well, it wasn't really technically a brick so much as a squarish rock. But we call those bricks. In our native tongue we call them. We have a very difficult language to speak. The grammar is insane. You should see it. If you were to see a Falkland Island Native Indigenous grammar book, you realize that every sentence has to begin with an indirect object, which makes it hard because you can never speak a sentence in which you're not giving something to somebody or doing something for somebody. It always has to be shortcutted with that, where removing the to or the for. So if I say like, I gave Jane the ball, that's a legal sentence in Falklandish, because it does have an indirect object, but we have to put it first. So it would be Jane, I, and then the action verb, give, and then look back a word, balls before there. It's kind of like a map to the meaning. We include a lot of directional stuff in our language. So we'll say, reference the first word to know which subject is being applied for the rest of the sentence. It's a redundancy built in to make sure there's not a miscommunication. So it takes a lot of words to say a little bit of stuff.
Make sure there's no miscommunication.
Right. So I want one of those fish. It says I want one of those fish, but it also says, remember that I refers to me. The fish that I'm talking about is one that we can both see. That is the indefinite definite article that I'm using to modify fish. And want is the key verb here, namely you should interpret this as meaning, can I have that fish, even though I haven't expressed it as a question. All that has to be put into the sentence, I want that fish.
Wow. That is an extensive.
And it sounds like this. that. It's a challenging language to teach other people too. Is the thing. Got a lot of animal sounds, whistles. It's got things like that in it too. You know, like some people have that in there. Have very complicated rhythmic patterns as their first name, even. So you know, but then there's also, and you can easily get them confused if you're not paying a lot of attention.
Really easy too.
Mm-hmm. Ours are strange people. But you know, we invented calculus nearly 4,000 years before Isaac Newton. The Falklanders people were responsible for the original calculus. Of course, we weren't calculating the motion of objects in space and curves. We were instead calculating how much we hated the British. Turned out it was 10. We're like, God, those British people, stop invading our island. Even though it was 4,000 years before it happened. Intuition told us. We're very intuitive people. White dotted skate is a fish found in Argentina. You know, one of the most expensive fish you could get for a while was Chilean sea bass. And then there's quite a stretch of time where it's difficult to find it at all because I think we got overfished. Yeah, they did. Yeah, we did. But we solved it. Then nobody wrote it down. We made jokes about it for a few days. Then everybody forgot what the real answer was because we had so many different joke answers. And that's how we lost the Riemann hypothesis, the solution to it. Ours was also the first people to suggest that cheese be shaped in a wheel rather than just a square. Prior to the Falkland Islands, all cheese was square or rectangular shaped, cubed. You know, we introduced circularity to the cheese world.
That's a really important thing.
Mm-hmm. Also, we invented greeting cards. Papyrus. We had papyrus greeting cards. Thousands of years. There was a bustling greeting card industry on the Falkland Islands. Thousands of years ago, before Hallmark ever even thought of it.
Wow. So like you got bought out?
No, you know, we got invaded by the British, and they claimed our greeting card industry as their own. I mean, a bustling center, global center of greeting cards for thousands of years were the Falkland Islands. We were it's like practically every day in the Falkland culture required you to give somebody a greeting card.
Wow.
You know, you'd have like, you know, your gardener's wife day, in which you had to give your gardener's wife a greeting card. So, and there was a line of greeting cards specifically for that day. And if you got one that was for the wrong day, it meant you didn't care about them and that they could throw their own feces in your face. It was an old cultural tradition. Almost nobody did it, but they could if they wanted to. Yeah, well, exactly. They enslaved our people and forced them to work in the greeting card mines after they invaded. Those were our greeting card mines. Those were our greeting card writers that were working down there.
They were?
Dear Auntie, your special day is here. Father's Sister's Day. I am so happy to have an opportunity to write some personalized sentiments for you here in this greeting card, and they will follow this standardized introduction, : That's for Father's Sister Day.
Father's Sister's Day?
Father's Sister Day. So you also have Father's High School Best Friend Day. It's on the same day as Mother's Sister Day, I believe. How is everyone this evening? Nobody can answer that question, say I'm black. Nobody can answer that question. The amount of polling you'd have to do. I mean, think about how many different languages your call center would need to speak to simply get a meaningful poll sample to answer the question, how is everyone this evening? It's nearly impossible.
Yes, beauty and glory.
Well, Overline, I don't know if you heard my great idea earlier. Why don't we pipe seawater to everybody's house? Everybody get a seawater pipe. Pump seawater, a pipe that's dedicated to just seawater that pumps seawater to your house. What is going to happen? What is going to happen? All you do is you put the pipe there, you put a cap on it. The city puts the pipe in. Here's a new pipe. Seawater's in there, by the way. And you put your cap on it. Now, what do you think is going to happen? Well, people are going to say, ooh, I have an invention for a small-scale desalinator that people can buy for their house. And then there's going to be a bunch of different ways that people will go about desalinating that water. And then those are the lies the English people rewrote all of our history to eliminate us from it. You know, we were a tribe that had one person in the tribe represent some tribal thing from tribes around the world. So we had one guy who had that big circle in his mouth and his lip. We had one guy who had the rings around the neck. We had one guy who had the Polynesian tattoos. We had one guy who had the Indian headdress, you know, the Native American headdress. We had one guy who dressed in seal furs and tried to build, you know, an ice house, but of course we just had rocks most of the year. So, we even had one guy who insisted on going around in a grass skirt the whole time, but he died the first winter.
The first winter.
Yeah, very first winter after our species spontaneously generated there. Our race wow. of indigenuity. Indigenuity.
It seems like you're very serious about a topic. This topic, it seems to be.
Well,
do you think people don't take it seriously enough?
Let's see what this is. So if you live in California, I think this is a good idea, actually, this water thing. All the infrastructure you have to invest in would be to add an additional pipe. It's quite a bit of infrastructure, but once you've got it put in, it's done. You add your piping, you pipe seawater up the piping, and you let the market take care of itself for the rest of the outcomes you're looking for. In California, where water is, we have kind of long, I think we tend to have kind of long weather cycles. We had historically long weather cycles, and people get accustomed to this like 8-year long weather cycle or whatever. And then, and then we have droughts and stuff, you know. The problem is, of course, the farmers are having to pay more and more and more for water. That's the biggest problem because that's going to impact everybody's bottom line ultimately, for one thing, which is to say food's going to get more expensive if farmers have to pay too much for water. Additionally, it should be noted that to the extent that people are kind of slave to the water company for their water, then obviously they have associated overhead. If they live someplace where the rain provides most of their crops water, then that's no overhead, you know. It's the thing is where California's growing most of the crops, there is not nearly enough naturally occurring rainfall, not even remotely close. So the thing is, Zaylen Black says, yeah, lawns need mown and watered and blah, uprooted all. I have well placed parks. Here's the thing: if we were to do my seawater idea, then we wouldn't need to worry about conserving water. To the extent that we purchased some sort of aftermarket desalinator and attached it to our water pipe, then we'd have as much fresh water as we wanted for free, basically. A nominal cost. All it does is pump seawater to everybody, and that's it. And it doesn't matter how much of it you pump because there's always more seawater. Now, all that seawater gets converted into fresh water, which helps to desalinate the oceans, which are getting more salty, and move that salt into some sort of disposal protocol on land. It would allow us to do things like fix the Salton Sea easily enough. We just need to diversify, decentralize desalination. Right? What do you think? Good idea? Good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Nestle is unethically contributing to the resource destruction of poverty third world countries. This is a travesty. It was my idea to do this, and they stole it. There's plenty of water for those farms, except big cities like LA and San Francisco, a supermajority can simply take it for their use. Well, I mean, so in other words, there's plenty of water for those farms, so long as there's not plenty of water for the cities, right? Well, Horsemonger, what I'm saying is you bring the seawater up and cap all those pipes and let the free market do its thing. So you don't bring in this pipe and say, oh, here's your seawater tap, right? No such thing as a seawater tap. It's a capped pipe. It's like goes into your house or somewhere in your property like the plumbing for a toilet would. And if you want to have it useful in some fashion, then you have to deal with this stuff. The point is, right now, maybe it is the case that we don't have the technology to make this meaningful. But if in fact the scale were small enough, in other words, I'm not trying to desalinate 2,000 gallons of seawater. I'm trying to desalinate 100 gallons of water or something, at most, let's say. Average house's use. Right. I'm saying that even if the technology doesn't exist right now to make that an easy proposition for the homeowner, that in fact you're going to be engaging in some waste disposal in the status quo, that the free market will solve that within a fairly short period of time, especially next time there's a drought. It's a good way to prepare for the next drought. Put all those pipes in, cap them, and when people decide they have a use for them, well, I'm saying, when I say the free market, one part of the free market that does still exist is the part that says, oh, the government put in a bunch of pipes of seawater and they're saying businesses do what you're going to sell people a means to deal with this that's effective. And here maybe are some minimum standards that estimate to be regulatorily acceptable. Here are some standards and so forth, and then see what happens. Because the thing is, even if you say the free market is not described the U.S. economy, the capacity of individuals with a new invention of some sort or a really good idea to make money off of that, where it doesn't exist in the status quo, is not really. I mean, that exists. I mean, like, you can't deny that. Like this place I got weed the other day, right? There's all kinds of competition in the weed business. There's shit tons and shit tons and shit tons of competition in the weed business because it's new and everybody wanted to get a piece of the action. So this business called Split Bud, they've got good deals if you get an ounce or more, you know. So I guess the spite monkeys have gone away now.
Good.
Yeah, they're kind of like mosquitoes. They are there in the evening, but they go away when it gets cold at night. No, I mean, it's not going to disrupt the existing freshwater system at all, Genexial. The existing, well, I think I would come back with new accounts. The existing freshwater delivery system won't be impacted at all. This is saying, here's a smart idea you could kind of sneakily do, even if there's a fair amount of infrastructure, without even really going into like what this is for most people. You just say like, we're putting in new plumbing stuff here, and people will go, okay. And if it involves, like, don't even take it to the people's houses yet, maybe. Like, just take it along the street lines, and if people want to have connection to their house, then maybe they have to pay for it from the city or whatever. But have it set up so that next time there's a drought and everyone's freaking out. Well, I mean, this is the point. Right now in California, there's not a problem because we had a really wet winter last winter. And, it just rained, although it's been dry since mostly. It just rained pretty good the other day. And if we have a few rainy weeks this winter, then it'll be another good year. You can kind of check. Southern California and Northern California are kind of different water levels. Southern California you can kind of gauge it by what the level of Big Bear is, Big Bear Lake. Northern California, you can look at a number of different criteria, but Lake Shasta. Well, yeah, there are lakes and reservoirs. But the thing is, we've just got out of a big, long drought where the whole state was just bone dry. It was like sad to watch that everything die, and everybody take out their lawns and everybody put in. That's good. Everybody take out their lawns and everybody put in like cactus and stuff. Of course, my dad did. We have a smallish lawn. I don't know. He does. He has the sprinkler set up, so I guess it doesn't use that much water or something. California seems like a terrible place. Well, it's good and bad. It's easy to shit on. So for a lot of reasons, it's very easy to shit on, and it's but on the other hand, there's some very lovely things about it. It was a lovely day today here in Los Angeles, and I live in a part which is, when there's snow on the mountains like this and kind of windy, it's just gorgeous, I live in a pretty nice suburb. We don't have any like I don't know. I don't care. No. Is the average Californian as douchey as advertised? No, I don't think so. I mean, California is where I live anyway is extremely diverse. So there's a lot of Chinese people, Taiwanese people, Mexicans, El Salvadorians, all kinds of South and Central Americans. There's a fair number of like Sikhs and Middle Easterners, and it's a very diverse population. So it's the kind of California you see on TV is really the West Side California. You need a way to process the toxicity brackish water produced by the desalination process. Also, a totally new technology that actually extracts stuff from the water and not just concentrates it. Why don't you just distill it? Why not just have a distillation process? You know? I mean, granted, that's going to increase your energy usage, but it's not going to increase your water usage. And the thing is, if you do a distillation process, then you're going to have waste product of salts and other particulates, and there'll be some sort of protocols to dispose of those, I guess. I mean, the thing is, it's if you say, well, distillation is too difficult, it would seem to me the same sort of thing as a tankless hot water heater, except that had a higher maximum temperature to it. It would just steam the shit out of it, and there you go, right? You might as well you could power a turbine while you're at it to save some electricity, to have the electricity go back into the system or something. Well, you're not going to really probably eat the leftover particulates from distilled seawater. I don't think you would want to put that. I don't think you'd want to put that in like on your food, but maybe if you distilled it at a high enough temperature, it would kill everything bad. I don't know. What is the future of generating energy? Do you feel like nuclear is the future? I mean, based on what I read the other day about the Korean fusion reactor, I suspect it's fusion reactions. We had quite a conversation here the other day. And you have to get the end users to do that instead of just dump the waste. And they're still left with salt. Which sounds like a recipe for mass pollution given current technology. Well, I mean, that's the situation we have with people with oil in their car. That situation we have with batteries. How is this so different? Lots of things qualify as that. Things that need to be disposed of properly, but aren't. Salt is, I mean, even if it gets concentrated in landfills, that's kind of like, is that what's the problem with the landfills? Is that they're too salty, or is it all the garbage and other toxic shit in there? I mean, the thing is, well, sure. But look, I mean, when people change the oil in their car, they have to dispose of it properly. When there's all kinds of stuff that's way more like let's say everybody just does throw their salt away. Well, where does it go? It just gets concentrated in the landfill. Presumably, the landfill is placed someplace where it's not going to seep into the groundwater anyway, or else they wouldn't have put it there. Hopefully. So, I mean, where else? Where better to concentrate a bunch of salt? The fact is, the parts of the earth that aren't the ocean and the parts of the earth that are the ocean would all benefit from more fresh water and or less salt. So, yeah, like Sean says, maybe the state can collect it in the recycling. Like we have currently outside of our house, we've got a black trash can, a green trash can, and a blue trash can. Maybe there would also be an attachment on the blue trash can for salt or something like that, you know? I don't know how. The thing is, I agree that how much energy would be required for the distillation. Well, you would have a very good case to say if we were using dirty energy that that in fact it would be a net environmental harm or something. However, in the middle of the drought, people aren't going to say that. Just like in the middle of COVID, nobody's enforcing the straw law anymore. Nobody's enforcing the reusable bag rule anymore. You're not allowed to bring in your own reusable bag anymore, right? You have to use the store bags or not, or put it in your bags outside. So, you know, it's like what I'm saying is the objections that one might have to this process of to the problems that might go along with the seawater idea will seem, when we need it, less significant than the benefits. And there's these laws that you can't get them unless you explicitly ask for them. They can't provide them automatically. You have to ask them for it. They're not banned, but it's like there's a ban on them. You say it's so annoying because it counts for drive-thrus too. Because like the reusable straw faction lobby decided that everybody should have reusable straws in their car. Then we wouldn't have to. Fuck off, you people, you know? Okay, well, I mean, but there are plenty of alternate solutions. And again, Horse Mumbler, it would be silly to say that preparing to have access up in the city to seawater on the grounds that there may come a need for individuals to start providing some of their own water. Next time there's a big drought, we just went through one, and everybody had to get all like, you know, nobody use any water, don't flush the toilet, you know, and let your gardens die, etc. So the point is, why don't we set it up so that if it gets even worse than that, since we got climate change and shit, that if in fact it comes to a point where the benefits of this notion outweigh the harms, that we have it in place to take advantage of. If you don't put it in place in advance, it's going to take a long time to put it in place when you need it. So, I mean, I think it's weird that I appreciate your devil's advocacy here, so to speak, Horse Mumbler, but this is a pretty solid idea. It's about as good a policy prescription as you're going to come across, you know. 4 states that have water supply problems. Well, I mean, here's the thing, Nicholas Watson. As it stands, with all the fertilizers and stuff, you're seeing things like the Salton Sea is now dead. Whereas when I was a kid, it was still really like just teeming with fish. So, and that's in part because of agricultural runoff. The thing is that agricultural runoff maximizes in intensity when farmers have to squeeze every last drop out of their water because it's so expensive. Ideally, farmers like to flood all their crops for a certain period of time on certain occasions, and then let the extra water run off after the flood, and that's how it gets into the lakes. The thing is, the less they're able to indulgently water, the more concentrated that runoff is. So if they in fact could pull the salts out of the water through distillation process prior to putting it onto the crops, or if they could be given more of a percentage of all the naturally occurring fresh water so that their water is cheaper and they can water more, then there'll be less runoff going into the lakes that's harming especially those lakes like Salton Sea and Mono Lake and other such lakes. If the state of California in charge of the Sahara Desert, in 5 years there'll be a sand shortage. Oh, it's funny. What can I tell you, dude? That's hilarious. That's such a good sentence. If you put the state of California in charge of the Sahara Desert, in 5 years there would be a sand shortage.
That's funny.
It's fantastic. 5 points for sure. So yeah, Nicholas Watson. Look, the point is, I agree that by being human beings and doing what we do, which is to say, messing with shit, that we end up with some waste product, namely salt in this instance. But I would say that the salt where it currently is in the ocean is not doing any good there. It's not like the oceans aren't salty enough. They're too salty. Well, what about my suggestion of distillation? They have tankless hot water heaters. Back in the 60s, they had tankless hot water heaters that would boil. What's Milton Friedman? I'm making a specific policy advocacy about how to address possible future droughts in California. What does Milton Friedman have to do with it? I'm including plenty of state involvement in this process as well, including regulations and so forth. Oh, I see. He's also the one who said, let them have, why don't you give them all spoons? Why don't you give them, like, he's like, why are these people working with shovels and stuff? Why not have them work with heavy machinery? And, well, I mean, they all need jobs. Well, why don't you give them all spoons? Hilarious. Once you remove the salt from the water list, all this dust and it will fly everywhere, including to farmlands. Okay, so what about my notion? Everybody seems to be, wow, the naysayers here, about the simple idea that we add an attachment to the blue trash can for salt. What's the problem? Salt in the water. What's the solution? Distillation.
Yeah.
Distillation requires heat. You have a heating element, just like you have in a tankless hot water heater that's so hot that it boils it right away. You can run on electricity. I don't understand why would this be so challenging to do? It's technology. It's technology we already have. He's got to boil salt water, catch all the steam, and it's just like, I could make a distillation thing like this at the beach by digging a hole in the sand, making sure the sand's really wet, putting a cup in the middle, putting a piece of plastic over the top of the hole, put little rocks around the edge of the plastic, and put one in the middle of the plastic so the middle's a little bit down, and then the water from inside will heat up, condense on the top of the plastic, and drip down into the little cup and provide you fresh water. So I can distill water right now with nothing but a can and a piece of saran wrap. So why in the world is this so fucking impossible? Since I can distill water right now at the beach with a piece of saran wrap and a half aluminum can. Well, I mean, I agree that that is not the method of distillation we should use. Note, I am solving the problems associated with large-scale desalination by decentralizing it and turning it into a recyclable product or a waste product that gets a special designation. Like, it's already, we already have the protocols in place to slot this thing right in. And you guys are shitting on it anyway. It's crazy.
No,
it's a great idea.
seriously.
It's fine, though. Please go ahead and attack it. I think you're grasping at straws here.
I'm really happier if I found that.
What are you saying we should isn't solving it? I'm advocating a course of action that acknowledges that when we're done with this course of action, you'll have a bunch of capped pipes that are ready to pump seawater to somebody rather than anything that's functioning or going on. And that's the only step of the policy that I'm advocating for. I'm saying there are enough smart people and enough possible solutions and enough ways around these problems you're raising as possible problems after we were to have done this and everybody started using it, presumably, which of course means if you're going to imagine a world in which it's happened and everybody started using it and you're having salt accumulation problems, also imagine a world where you have ample fresh water for all purposes all year round. So I have to give this cat some food because Trouble's here.
Oh, Trouble's here?
And then I'm going to wrap up this stream, I think. It's been a pretty good stream.
I think so too.
It reminds me of a New Year's worth of energy and attention.
Yeah.
Which kind of food do you think Trouble wants?
He was eating that kind, and I gave it to him yesterday.
Did he eat the dark kind?
I didn't notice. I only noticed him eating this kind.
I'm going to give him a little bit of all the different kinds again.
Okay.
All right, I'll give him a little bit of this. I'll just give him two kinds and see which one he eats.
No,
Don't get that. If you don't think that you would like to eat this fish flavored food, you're not alone. Nobody likes it. Neither the cats nor the peacock.
Or the people. Oh my gosh. It was expensive. Meow.
It's the most expensive cat food I've ever bought. And the cat, nothing likes it.
No, that was like the funniest thing. That was like caviar.
Okay. The water problem is bureaucracy and politically allocated resources instead of market allocated resources. What I'm saying, as a locality, this is something that potentially Los Angeles County could do as a locality and remove themselves from the equation entirely. When the need came, if the need came. It doesn't have to be done by the federal government. certainly, because lots of parts of the country don't need that. It doesn't even have to be done by the state of California. I mean, it would cost what it costs. People could choose to have it put in or not. It depends how. It's like if you're going to allow, for example, the free market to somewhat constrain people's water usage, then, which is to say market costs, I should say. If you're gonna allow cost to constrain people's usage of water, which to some extent they do, to some extent it's subsidized, and to some extent not, then if those costs for fresh water get high enough, and if your needs are high enough, then it's worth the investment. If it becomes popular, new houses will be built with that shit already in place, right? And so then there'll be a generation of people who, we're buying an old house, we really want the desalinator, and so we're gonna have to pay to get the piping run from the street to the house. The thing the point I'm making though about the landfills as well is not that it's a good idea to dump a bunch of salt into a landfill, but that it's not a good idea to dump all the rest of the stuff that we're dumping there in the landfill either. It's not like landfills are verdant wonderlands of fertile, arable fields until people start putting salt in them, right? The thing is, there's a reason why desalination plants are so expensive. It's because you're having to make a piece of machinery that is doing a massive amount of volume of water, right? So it's not practical to distill that amount of water without using huge amounts of energy. It becomes cost prohibitive. In other words, your distilled seawater becomes more expensive than any other source of water. But if you decentralize the thing, then it's just another part of your electricity bill. So you can balance it yourself. It's like when they added natural gas and then they had electricity, right? They didn't get rid of natural gas. They added electricity, or whichever one came first. I don't know. And you can get your appliances either way. You can get natural gas, you can get electrical. Well, same principle, right? I mean, I'm sure when somebody said, let's run natural gas to people's houses, you guys would have, back in the day, just pulled your hair out. Oh my God, we cannot possibly do that. People will blow the fuck up all over the place, is what you would have said. How about electricity? Electricity, for that matter. We cannot run electricity to people's houses. Are you crazy? People are going to electrocute themselves left and right.
These are facts.
What? You let people buy fire-making devices at the store? They might burn down their house. You can't let them buy things like this.
Can we do a tarot read for 2021?
Sure. Do a quick one, and then I'm ready. No, it's fine. I will do a quick one. I want to do a quick one.
I like what you're talking about, though, because you're right.
And then I'm ready to end this strizizizizizim. Okay. The mood of the year's birth month. So if you think of a year as being 12 months, and you divide about 86 years or so into 12, you get pieces of about, not 86 years. If you divide, 86 years into 12, then you get about 7 years per month. Okay, so we're going to treat the year as a lifetime. So this is for, we'll do 12 cards. This is for January. This is years 1 through 7 of the year. The childhood, the year's childhood, filled with regret over 2020.
Oh.
This is for February. This is ages 7 through 14 of the year. Hey, it's all about us getting back together.
Refund check.
Now we're no longer disallowed from going and hanging out with each other. So let's go engage in cooperative health theater. We'll all have masks is the only difference between the picture and that.
Yeah.
Now, March. This is ages, I'm sorry, 8 to 15. This is ages 16 through 23. 16 through 23. The last one was 8 through 15. 16 through 23.
Oh, another one for voyages.
This is March. The world, us, whatever. We're moving in March. We're doing stuff. No, that's March. Now we've got April. This is ages 24 through 31. Not witchcraft.
Ooh, justice.
Justice. This is not witchcraft, Gen Xio, for God's sakes.
Definitely not. It's entertaining.
Do you see any cauldrons around me? Any black cats? Any brooms? Any spell books? Any hexes? No. This is for May. Ooh. Materialism. Everybody has a massive orgy in May. There's a massive orgy that sweeps through Europe in May. It's the mass social response to COVID is that an orgy sweeps across Europe this May. All right, now June. Okay, listen. Now let's really settle into our seat here with our emotions. We're sitting on top of some emotional water. My feet are getting wet because they're getting a little tenderized. That's June. June's a little tender, a little reflective. Now July. This is the spirit of 2021. July is a month of death. This is when we switch over from the old ways. Because if you look, this seems like it takes us through June to really sit down and go, okay, 2020 is really over. Things are kind of back to normal now. July, the end of the old ways, the end of the crazy weirdness. Everybody's bound back to normal. And they're realizing, of course, the economy is kind of dead too. So that's July. Now, August.
Oh.
Feeling better. Stock market rebounds. Crosses the 36,000 threshold for the first time. All right, that was August. It's a very august picture too. Now we've got September. The Knight of Swords.
Ooh.
This is the comeback of TI.
Yes.
The comeback of TI is starts happening in September. We've sacrificed all introverted thinking for the last almost year or so about, and it's going to come back in what month was that?
That was September.
March, April, May, June, July, August, September. This one, October.
Ooh.
It's a brand new emotional beginning, y'all. Halloween bringing emotions. It's a brand new emotional beginning, y'all. Trick or treat your emotions. Okay, now we're coming into the last 2 months of the year. November of next year, of 2021, this year, I mean. Oh, gosh, look at that bush. It's got all those circles on it. And now to make things worse, this red guy's trying to grab my stick. In November, a red guy will try to grab your stick. Watch out for that. Basically, this means, okay, we got a lot to do, and we don't have the right tool, and someone's trying to grab it from me. Now December, the final month of the year. Hey, look! I threw all my sticks out the air. Out the window there. Look at them all floating together. That's wonderful.
That is wonderful.
That's December. Now these are each of the months. Now here's the card for the year as a whole.
Ooh. Hey.
King of Wands.
King of Wands. Not bad. Not bad.
Looking pretty
Hey,
pimpin'.
look, there's cats in the picture too.
Yeah, this guy's pretty confident. He's pretty smug. He's like, yeah, I slay. Even though I got these little tiny legs. Don't matter.
And those little tiny cats, maybe more people will adopt cats in 2021.
He's got some tiny ass legs, huh? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, he does.
He slays.
That perspective is so weird. It's true.
King of Wands. That's this year. That seems like a better year than last year, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
What does what really mean? The King of Wands? I don't know. Rachel, what does it really mean?
What, King of Wands?
Yeah.
It's good. It's like entertainment, exuberant, fiery, creativity.
Sounds like at some point in 2021, I may be putting on a juggling show for you. Maybe. Who knows?
Who knows?
That's the magic of the tarot.
And of an ENTP.
Pretty good for the.
I think so.
I wouldn't mind if you even took a picture of this,
Sure.
so that then we could remember which card goes with each month.
Oh. Oh no.
This way,
Yeah.
this way,
Mm-hmm.
this way, this way, this way, this way,
Yeah.
and this way.
Cool.
Good. Can you take it sideways?
Yes.
Rachel always likes to take pictures up and down.
I do.
Shake, shake that ass. What, yeah.
Okay, looking at my booty.
Yeah, that's great. It's quite a action shot there. Okay, enough with that. All right, time to end the stream. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.
Okay, this should be in the photos, the Google photos.
Cool.
Yeah, it is.